Let's take a look at how to make some compass and straight edge constructions. Now, I'm obviously using a simulated compass on my computer. You can purchase these for 99 cents at the dollar store usually, or you can find them at Target, Walmart, places like that. Pretty inexpensive as well. But this electronic version works the exact same way. I can change the spacing between my spacing of my compass. I can use it to draw curves and arcs. The main difference is mine actually gives me a degree measurement, and this number, which represents the spacing. Most physical compasses don't do that. So the first thing we're going to do is copy a line segment. So in order to do that, we need a starting point for where we are going to copy it to, and that would just be a dot. So we need a starting point. We will take our compass and just use it to measure the length of our line segment. Then we can take our compass to our starting point that we made, and then simply by moving the pencil portion of our compass, we've now marked out the same length, and then just use your straight edge to draw that line segment. You can also use it to copy an angle. So to do that, first take your compass over, put the pin on the vertex of your angle, and then measure out some distance. We're also going to be starting with a ray that will be the one of the sides of our angle that we're copying. But once you have an arbitrary distance stretched out on your compass, go ahead and make an arc that goes through both sides of your angle. Then on your ray that you're going to be copying the angle onto, make that same arc. Make sure you go far enough that you will be able to get the other side of the angle in there. Next, take your compass and adjust it so you can measure where it intersects the other side of the angle. Once you have that distance marked, come make that same mark on your copy, and that will show you where your second ray of your angle needs to pass through. And then just use your straight edge to go from the vertex through the intersection of those arcs. And that is a replica of the original angle. The process for drawing a bisector for an angle is the same as copying an angle. Put the tip on the vertex, go out some arbitrary distance, and make a curve. Then you can keep that distance that you have spaced out on your compass, but now put the tip of the compass on the intersection of the arc with the angle and make another arc. Do the same thing from the other intersection. Draw a mark where those intersect. If you use your straight edge to draw a ray through the intersection, that is an angle bisector. To construct a perpendicular line, put the tip of your compass on the line that you want to be perpendicular to. Go out an arbitrary distance. Make a mark. And do so on the other side as well. You could draw a full circle, but that would just be more lines than you need to worry about. Then from those marks, you can adjust your compass, go out a certain distance. It needs to be further than what it was. Then you can draw, you need to do below the line as well as above. Then you can move your compass to the other intersection. And where these marks intersect, that will be, if you connect them, that will be a perpendicular line. And there's our perpendicular. You can construct a perpendicular bisector if you do the same thing, but rather than making these original construction marks, we just need to use the given endpoints of our segment that we're trying to bisect. You need to stretch your compass further than halfway across the segment we're bisecting. Then make your marks both above and below, and then do the same thing from the other endpoint. And make sure you mark the intersection. And if you draw the line that connects the intersection of your arcs, that is a perpendicular bisector. Now we can tie all this together to draw a triangle with two given angles and the side length in between those angles given. So let's start with a ray. And we're going to copy angle A onto it. This will also be where we measure out the length of C, because it says that C is going to be between angles A and B. It says it's the included side, so it's the side in between. So put your compass on the vertex, stretch it out a certain arbitrary distance, and make a curve. Make that same curve where we're trying to copy the angle. Then we need to measure the distance from the two intersections. So now we can draw the other side of angle A. Next, we can measure out the length of C by going from endpoint to endpoint. And we can mark that out on where we're copying the information down to for our construction. So there's the length of side C. And now we need to copy angle B. So we'll follow the same pattern that we did for angle A. Put the tip on the vertex, measure out an arbitrary distance, make an arc. Now this is our vertex. Make the arc. Now we need to measure the actual spacing between the intersection of the arc and copy that down to our I didn't make my original arc long enough, so let me adjust. Now I need to go back up and measure the spacing of the opening there. And translate that down to our copy. So angle B, the other side will go through from our vertex through this side. And as we can see, side A needs to be extended. If I continue to extend these sides until they will intersect, now we have our triangle.